Hi YouTube, welcome back to Wtf Rc Cars. So today we've got another receiver from Flysky. This is the FS R4D ESC. So this is a brush speed controller, receiver and LED controller or light controller for the G7P. Let's bring in for a close-up look, see what this supports and see if it'll work on the G7P. So it does come with some 3M tape for both the switch and the actual ESC receiver. We have two bullet connectors for the motor. We've got a Dean's T connector for the actual battery. You've got a small antenna, and then you've got the switch with the little waterproof coating on it, on-off switch, and it does mount to the actual receiver itself if you don't want to stick it on anywhere. So that's all quite nice. Outputs we have, so channel 2 is obviously the inbuilt ESC. We've got a BEC of 6 volt 3 amp. You've also got your extra channel outputs, so you've got channel 1, 3 and 4. Then we've got a bunch of double pin outputs. So we have left and right indicator, headlight, tail light, a light that flashes and a top light. So you've got quite a few options there on how you actually plug LEDs in and plenty of outputs of what you want them to do. It's PPX7 water resistant. It'll run from 2 to 3S LiPo and 5 to 9 cell NIM. You do have a nice little heatsink on it. Now motor wise, you've got a 40 amp constant, 200 amp peak sort of power draw for the motor, and it does say it supports, so it does support 390, 370 and 280 brushed motors, but you have got a 40 amp draw, 200 amp sort of peak. So I've personally run it with a 540, a stock Tamiya 540 silver can, and not had any issues with it overheating or anything. But your mileage may vary, it depends on the load on the RC and sort of gearing of the RC and everything, but 40 amps is quite a bit, so should perform pretty similar to the stock Tamiya ESCs. Let's get a motor and a servo and get it connected to G7P, see how we set this thing up. Right, so we've got a little 2S battery, we've got the servo plugged into channel 1, we've just got as motor wires. I've got a 21 turn 550 can, no load on it, so it should be absolutely fine. So first we're going to go into a transmitter, and I'm going to reset this model just to make sure we've got nothing of any strange setup or anything, and then we'll go down and let's give it a name. So we give it a name, then we come back out. So let's have a look. So we're going to go into bind set. Now on this one we're going to go routine. We're going to go two-way, RX type, ESC RX. So then we should. Now you need to power up the ESC. So we got it turned on, and if we press start binding, should bind straight up to it. We've got a steering, and we've got a throttle. So we got forward, brake and reverse. So once we've got that set up, we can go down to as ESC setup. So you've got mode, forward, brake, reverse. We can change that to forward and reverse for likes of a crawler So it does come as standard on forward brake and reverse, or if you want it for a crawler, you can just have forward and reverse, so there's no brake. Think I'd leave it on forward brake and reverse. Battery type, you've got LiPo for the LiPo cutoff, or NIM. So I'm going to leave it on that. So this is drag brake basically. So if we turn it down to 0 and we hit throttle, or you can have it 50%, $75, or 100. So definitely a setting that you may use if you just have it on a crawler to give you a bit of drag brake. Suppose you could use it on RC as well, on cars. But yeah, that is your, not sure if it's meant to be brake force, but it definitely works as a drag brake. So, just a basic setup of how you'd set it up for the G7P. And you can reverse your servo, same as you'd normally do it. And if you want to reverse the motor, just spin the wires around. It's a brush motor. So, there you have it. That is just a quick setup. I will do another video on the LED controller. It needs an entire video on itself to explain how the actual controls work for it and what the lighting settings do. But yeah, it's a nice tidy little ESC light controller and receiver all in one. And I believe these should be available really soon. But yeah, really nice footprint, not too big for what it actually does. I like that it comes with Dean's T connectors. I like that it's got the bullet connectors on. So in most cases, you'd just be able to buy this, plug it in, and away you go. Did try it on the ST8, and although it'll bind to it, it really doesn't like to work with it. So it's got some weird issues where if you press forward, it'll go flat out, and as you push the stick further forward, it slows down. Really strange setup. I don't know if they're going to release a firmware for the ST8 to allow it to run with these, because unlike the G7P, the ST8 on the firmware that I've got hasn't got a setting for ESC receivers. But hopefully that's just about covered everything. I think the range on it is around 150 meters. Will run up to 3S. You've got a 40 amp limit, 200 amp boost. But yeah, I've put this in one of the little Tamiya cars and drove it around on a full pack 2S, and it didn't get too hot or cut out or anything, even powered out lights. But let's wrap this one up. So that's the FS R4D ESC. Should be officially available quite soon. Don't have a link at the moment, but if I find one in future, I'll pop it on the description of video. But thanks again for watching Wtf Rc Cars. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, share to friends and family, and catch you guys again in the next one.